We're proud to have linked up with Tracksmith for this episode of Podium. Tracksmith is the New England running brand which produces what we think is some of the highest quality running gear you can get. Its third running shoe has just been released, a trail shoe called the Elliott Range. There's also the Elliott Runner for everyday miles. But I love the Elliott Racer, a lightweight carbon fiber shoe I've been using over the past few months. I've mostly been using them for 5K park runs and sessions and seeing the results too. So see for yourself what the fuss is all about and give them a try. Head to tracksmith.com and get 20% off your first order by using the code PODIUM20, all one word and spelled like Podium, Podium, and enter that at checkout. Details are also in the show notes.
We are so grateful to Morton for their sponsorship of this podcast since day one. When I was an athlete, it was hard to find a carbohydrate drink that would give you anywhere near the fuel you needed for a long run or in a palatable format. And when it came to using bicarb, it was hard to find a trusted source, let alone one that provided a user-friendly pre-mixed product like Morton do with their bicarb system. And most importantly for race day, a bicarb product that doesn't cause stomach issues. I can only dream of such luxury. To find out more about the bicarb system, listen back to our interview with Andy Sparks in July. And to see how gels and drink mixes can benefit your road training, head to morton.com. And listeners can make the most of a one-time 15% discount code by entering Podium15 at checkout until the end of 2025.
Welcome to the first Podium Podlet after day one of the World Athletics Championships 2025 in Tokyo. We have just wrapped the opening day's action and Hannah and Katie are here with me, Rich. We're all here, just assembled. I haven't done any work tonight, apart from some prep for tomorrow. Katie, you've been on the men's shot put final tonight. Hannah, you've been on what we call the integrated feed, but we're going to call that the normal feed that you watch on TV.
Okay, all right.
So basically you do everything.
You
Dog's body.
And so this is the first two episodes where we're just going to go through some snapshots, really. It's not going to be a full, in-detail podcast like we would usually do, but everyone's buzzing. The stadium was pretty much full tonight. Incredible atmosphere, especially for the home athletes. Let's start with men's shot put. And Katie, you tell the story here.
So it was a competition that it took a little while to get going, I think. Tom Walsh was the initial leader, but I think that the main storyline was, of course, around Ryan Krause, who's the defending champion, had gone back-to-back over the last couple of world champs. It's the triple Olympic champion as well, but the big talking point, obviously, throughout this year has been the fact that he's just not competed. Like, we've talked about it. Obviously, we've had him on the podcast and we got a bit of an inside track, which definitely helped me on my commentary tonight, which is excellent. Well done, us. But I just didn't know. I was saying to the listeners on commentary, like, now we find out. Like, is he a true champion warrior type guy? Is the elbow going to be an issue? Is he the guy who can just pull it out the bag?
Is he a machine?
And he is absolutely
Is he a real human or is he a robot?
A robot. The elbow was fine. Only guy over 22 metres. His initial leading throw, which would have still got him the victory, was 21.99, and he moved out to 22.32, 34. There we go. It's just about still in my brain. And he was just really calm and composed. He, I think, looked... I don't know, hard to say whether he was maybe a little bit surprised as well. I don't think surprised.
I think that's like the first time I've ever seen Ryan Krause look really nervous.
Unsure.
Like, yeah, there was no bravado. There was no, like, charisma. Like,
Totally
normally
not.
he's a charisma machine and he just walked in there just like, right, can I do this?
I would say the warm-up was really interesting to watch. We didn't see that on commentary, but I was having kind of a keen eye on him beforehand, and he was the only guy sort of quite nonchalantly almost peppering 22 in the warm-up, which I was really shocked about. Yeah, and actually he was caught chatting to Fabri afterwards, and I could hear it on the microphones that he got the bronze medal in the end, the world leader from Italy. But he was saying, like, oh, mate, did you see my warm-up? It was so bad I could barely hit 20 metres. And I thought, isn't that such a cool indicator that I think Krause, even though he looked so nervous, I think was calm enough to know at least I'm hitting them when the pressure is off in the warm-up.
Yeah.
I think the other main storyline, which was super gutting, was Tom Walsh, the former champion.
Such a nice bloke.
Is such a favourite for all of us. So many people
Gutting
love him.
for him, but what a silver.
let me get to that.
Sorry.
Tom Walsh, the story was, well, it's now ended up being a fourth place in a row, but there was a point at which he was in silver medal position, gets pushed down to third because Fabry also pulls out a 21.94, exactly the same mark as Tom Walsh had got, which if you're a shot put nerd like me, you'll go back to the 2019 final, which was one of the epic of all time, where that happened to Tom Walsh again. He was pushed down to bronze because Krauser got the same mark, and then Kovac comes in the last round and beats them both by 1 centimetre. So it just felt like there were shades of that, and Tom Walsh actually referenced that again, picked up on the microphone.
Not again.
Not again. No medal. But like you say, history, Rich, for Munoz of I was about to say Brazil, Mexico. We're tired, it's late. Unbelievable. He just improved the whole way through, improved his own national record, 21.97, silver medal. He wears shades as well, which I kind of rate in a stadium
at night,
where the floodlights are on. And he was such a charismatic guy, and it just, the distances weren't at Krauser peak levels, but it was a really cool competition.
Even maybe a half-fit Krauser with no competitions all the way through the season can come into a World Championships and just take it, and it's just incredible. Let's move on quickly to the women's 10,000 metres then. That was the other final tonight. You kind of have a bit of a slow burn, don't we, through day one, as we go through all the qualification rounds and heats, and then it starts to really up from after today. But we had that incredible final in the shot put with the story of a Krauser, and a brilliant race in the 10,000 metres, and just a fantastic tear up in that last 200 metres. The explosion of pace from Beatrice Chebet, and how Bataclati went with her. I mean, I was almost surprised from my angle just how long Bataclati could stay with her, and she really took it to Chebet.
Yeah.
I mean, you must have loved this one.
Bataclati, absolute European medal machine, and then last year she turns out that silver medal at the Olympics, and everyone was sort of saying, does she need the field to be tired for her to get a silver medal? Does she need everyone to run a 5k first? And today has shown you absolutely not.
She's still one of those runners that people doubt. They keep talking like she's a fluke, right?
Yeah. And she's absolutely not. But it was the tactical positioning in that last 200 metres, because Ngetic went to go on the shoulder. Segai was leading, and Ngetic went to go and try and overtake Chebet, and Chebet went, right, that's it, I've got to turn on the afterburners. Absolutely turned it on. Batacleti elbow barges Ngetic to protect her position, and you're kind of thinking, all right, love, calm down. And then you're like, hang on a minute, Batacleti's gonna get back to Chebet, and she didn't. And the gap opened up in the last 70 metres, but like Batacleti and the raw emotion across her face when she crossed the line as well, just like a masterpiece. Chebet as well, absolute masterpiece. Segai, to her credit, we bash her credit, her tactics all year long, and she got them right today.
Yeah.
Like she didn't, she was calm. Yeah. I liked the move with the K to go. Yeah. I thought fair enough, it wasn't a suicidal move, it wasn't too quick, it was perfect. So that race totally lived up to my expectations, and of course Rob Walker's, who I'm working with, who friggin' loves a 10k. So Rob was beside himself.
Did he stand up?
Oh
Did
yeah,
he do the wings
he barely sat down.
Can I say as well, I know it almost feels like a silly thing to say, but you never get bored coming to a track meet and seeing for yourself those explosions of paces. The TV never really gets it because you're always so tight on them that you don't really see that injection.
Yeah.
And the excitement from the first injection of pace when the pack split, and the second one with that 200 metres to go was just phenomenal, and I don't think there's anything like it in sport. Like for me, it's amazing to watch, and you just think, how are they doing this? Amazing. Yeah. I said there's only two finals. What am I talking about? That's the third
mixed
final.
4x4.
Mixed 4x4, which is the last event of the
and
night.
The only event today, given that we had the race walks. Oh no, Italy got 3 medals. That's what I was going to say. Antonella Palmasino with the silver in the race walk. They've done well, the Italians today. The mixed 4x4. I mean,
Femke Bol couldn't do it this time.
She couldn't do it. I think she had a go. So Americans had a big lead. Alexis Holmes is phenomenal on that last leg. I reckon Femke Bol, she had a go for 200, and then she was just like, enough's enough. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Do you think she committed to that last 200, 150? Because that's what I was trying to work out.
No, I think she was like, I've got to get the silver. But I can't risk the rest of the week. How many medals can I pick up in the week, rather than can I be closer to Alexis Holmes today when there's no point? It's not going to give me a different medal.
That was a moment where I thought, just from a British bias, that Toby Harris was going to get Britain into contention, and he showed all that 200 metres pace that he's been working on, but unfortunately he just faded on it.
Wheels went.
And that's what he's been focusing on, though, isn't it, over the last month? This big push to get in the 200 metres, and that's what he's qualified for. But more than that, 6 weeks probably since the British champs went. It's all been full focus 200.
No, and it's a shame not to see the Brits repeat that Olympic medal from Paris. It's a bit of a shame, a bit of a kind of flat start for them, and from a British perspective as well. Laura Muir just looked so out of sorts in the last 150. It was super sad. I mean, Revée Walcott-Nolan on the flip side, she did make the final. Erin Wallace, she's her first kind of performance at this level, was absolutely fine, but Laura Muir, my heart went out to Laura Muir.
Just going back to the relays, I'm a bit gutted. Yes, it was great to see Japan in the final, and it made the atmosphere brilliant inside the stadium, but they were awarded their place earlier in the day because Kenya got disqualified for a lane infringement in the heats. And I absolutely lived for Mary Moraa on a final lap in a 400 mixed relay. She was as eccentric and as kind of erratic as you'd absolutely hope she would be over 400 with other people there. And she was just, her eyes lit up. She was in peak Mary Moraa form. And I thought her on a final lap with the likes of Bold.
Well, they could have been right in it. It was so close.
That could have been so cool.
It was so close for those second and
So
third.
just rounding that up then, so USA top, Netherlands got silver, and Belgium just hit Poland on the line. That's so tight. Okay, so you've half moved over to the 1500 metres.
Sorry, can't help it.
Let's just go over to that now. So you've mentioned already about Muir. She ran shoulder to shoulder, pretty much ran the entire heat in lane 2. She was going with Kip Yeagan. Was that the right thing to do? I mean, hindsight would say no, but I mean, it's bold from Laura, and she obviously thought that she was in shape to do that.
I'd be surprised if there's not an illness or a disruption. Okay. Like to go from how good she looked in Belgium to in Brussels in the Diamond League to just pop like that. That looked like stomach illness or something like that to me. She didn't look right.
She looked flat.
Yeah.
There was nothing left in her legs, but not in a sort of
overcooked it.
I'd agree with that.
No big shocks. Kip Yeagan through, Jessica Hull, Fawini Hailu, Nikki Hiltz, I'm on those all to go through. So a bit of a shame about Tanaka.
Gutted.
I know,
our favourite runner.
She'll go again in the 5,000 metres. We'll see her again.
She's everywhere on the metro in every poster, so we are loving that.
She is everywhere, isn't she? Let's quickly move over to the 100-metre heats that we saw. Let's start with the men, because there were so many unknowns going into this one. There's every single heat there was. He's not competed for 4 to 6 weeks. He's not competed for 4 to 6 weeks. What was the standout? Can I start with Ulrike Seville's terrible start?
That's what I was going to say. I was
maybe the worst start by one of the best runners that I might have seen this year.
0.285 was what it was.
So
it was bad
because I was focusing on other stuff. I couldn't really watch the replay. There wasn't a technical issue?
I think he rocked back. You know, when you sort of coil to get ready to start, I think for whatever reason he just caught that wrong, and you shouldn't. You need to be ready. You need to maintain ready from set all the way to the gun goes, and I think he just rocked, and then he was just off balance. When we talk about people that haven't competed for a while, Marcel Jacobs, hello.
Yeah, we thought he was gone.
I thought he was.
It wasn't a quick heat.
No, it wasn't.
What was his time? I didn't see his
10:20. He wouldn't have made it through on time.
Where are we at? Heats.
Yeah. Quarterfinals. Because you had the preliminaries.
The heats kind of think the conditions were maybe slightly better potentially in the first few heets.
Yeah.
I mean, they were very fast. With the second heat 2, that was really quick.
Yeah,
the one with Rommel Glavin.
The South African. Really, really quick time. 10:83 or something. Just sort of 10:87. Really blasting.
It was 9:87, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably right.
The heats we can forget about.
I'm not going to pull out my fact I had an hour and a half sleep, am I? Yeah, I did.
And also, just on a side note, for some unknown reason, Rich has decided to record this podcast in a sort of half squat position.
Well, this is a panicky. Let's be honest. This is a bit of a panicky podcast, and by that, what I mean is, Hannah's
also just turned the lights off.
Hannah's looking at her watch because she's got to go to another radio engagement in the next few minutes, and we're going to have to tell them that they're also going to have to wait a little bit for Hannah just for a few more. No big shocks again. Most of the big players all went through. Kishane Thompson, though, he looked the best tonight, didn't he? We hadn't seen him for 4 weeks. 9.95, bounding down that straight.
Rangy.
And when did he start to? He wound down with what? 30, 40 to go?
Yeah, so good.
80 metres, I reckon.
Yeah, he only came out the blocks, that was it. The rest of it was pure momentums.
So he looked good. Lars through. Kenny Benderek as well. We hadn't seen him for 4 weeks too. He ran just over 10 seconds. Was it 10 seconds? No, I'm not sure.
Benarek was,
Benarek just around 10. Azu went through, which is good to see.
Whoop, whoop.
Zanel
started
Hughes
well.
also through.
Andre de
Toboggo.
Grasse finished well.
De Grasse.
De Grasse looked really good.
And we commentated on an event in Beijing. He didn't look great there, did he?
But again, his last 20, it was like a glimmer of hope in Beijing last weekend that his last 20 was good. And then today it was like his last 40.
So early hot take, are we going to have any surprises in the 100 outside the names that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks?
It's going to be, at the moment,
Is it
just
Lyles?
off the heats, I'd say it's Kishane Thompson, Noah Lyles, +1.
Yeah.
Is that oblique Seville though?
Well, not with that start.
No, exactly.
He's got time to get it sorted. The final coming up. Okay, the women's 100. Let's just quickly blast through this because Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, absolutely fine. Julian Alfred, absolutely fine. Darryl Nita looked the best she looked all season.
So good.
Yeah, first time sub-11 this season.
Dina, I couldn't decide. I felt like she wasn't going full out. I felt like Dina was just running like an 8 out of 10 and it looked awkward.
But
it was fine.
But it looked fine. And Amy Hunt also went through too.
Yeah,
but
finish
the story
from
from the heats was maybe a slight improvement from Sha'Carri Richardson.
Yes. Yeah. And Sharika Jackson as well.
Sharika Jackson
looked
exactly
good.
that.
Sha'Carri Richardson looked good.
They're in the same heat, weren't they?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like,
I thought she looked a little heavy. Not Jackson. Richardson.
But better than we've seen.
But again, it's similar to Dina Asher Smith. Unless Sha'Carri Richardson is going full out, she does look a bit normal. But still the season's best. That's why I kind of it still gave me some good hope.
Okay, so more to come from that. Look, qualification shocks happen at every major championships. The goal is always not to be it.
Yes.
Larissa
Avoid the drama.
Today, missing out on qualification for the final. It looked to me from the communication she was getting from the stand, she didn't know what position she was in, that she didn't realise she'd been bumped just out of the final positions because she only just missed out. She only managed 6:56. Immediately in tears. We didn't see what happened afterwards. I think a sensible decision to cut away from it. We don't want to see someone completely devastated, but it was clear that she was going to break down. So what a shame, because second on the world lead list, European indoor champion. We had her again on the podcast. Felt like a real breakthrough year. I think that's really sad. Jazz Sawyer's also not able to make it through, and predictably Tara Davis-Woodall at the top of the pack.
When it made Tara Davis-Woodall look even better, like because she did the mark so early on, you're like, cool, that makes sense. And the fact so many other people struggled, you're like, wow, she really is like a notch ahead of those women to do it in one jump.
I think Claire Bryant might be involved in the final as well. World indoor champion. Hannah has got to leave. One more question, Rich.
The last thing, I don't want to ignore this because we were on the commentary this morning and I don't want to be told we're ignoring race walks, but the race walks this morning, that's kicked it all off. They were the first medals of these championships. Evan Dunphy, an extremely popular winner. Everything he does, he made us worry. He made us panic a little bit because the cramping with the last 2K. He said it was a dream come true, hardest 2 kilometers of his life. And just finally, Hannah, Maria Perez as well. She said afterwards she was actually going for the world record, but the conditions didn't allow it.
Well, she was 21st overall, men and women.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, who does that?
Yeah. So she's going to come back again to go for the 20K and try and do the double
What an
again.
animal.
All right, guys, that's about it for today. The first Podium Podlet is done. And
she's literally
run. She's not good.
Not as fast as she used to be,
not
though,
quite.
is she?
She's not as fast as she used to be, is she?
She needs to
Heading
up
into.
that
I don't think
cadence.
she knows where she's going. She thinks she can
She
go
thinks
that way.
she's training you for the media race. We need to train her. In fact, why don't we silently, while she's not here on the podcast, I hope she listens to this, why don't we sign her up for the media race? Are you allowed to put ex-athletes in to the media race here?
Yeah, you can.
Shall we?
Yeah, I've been told that happens.
Are we allowed to?
Before.
Can you sign up someone?
Oh, that's a good
Do you have to do it
question.
yourself?
No, she'll be embarrassed. What we could do is do the thing that she told us not to do yesterday.
Which is?
She said, under no circumstances, take me to a karaoke.
We should absolutely do that.
Absolutely
and we
do
should
that.
absolutely covertly film it. What do you reckon?
So stay tuned. All right, so that's day 1 wrapped. We'll be back tomorrow for day 2. Hope you've enjoyed this very quick, super. But Hannah really did. It wasn't a sprint, was it? Actually, that wasn't particularly impressive at all. We're going to go and get in a queue for the Metro, which we hope has eased down from this. Which, if it has, then we have actually timed this perfectly. And the Podlet is way better than standing in a queue. Well done, Ryan Krause. We'll be back tomorrow. If you haven't already, subscribe, follow. Make sure this drops in your inbox. Is it called an inbox? It's not. It's a feed, isn't it?
But also, we might do some more considered takes at some point, maybe.
Yes, at some point maybe. And sometimes we won't be as much in a rush because we won't have. Well, we are all all up at 5 a.m. It is gone 11 o'clock. We're back on Marathon GC in the morning.
Yay.
All right, guys, thanks a lot, and I'll speak to you next time.